Hello and welcome to Editing with My Wife, now with more feelings. My name is The Hooded Philosopher and I'm here with Cheesy Loops. How you feeling, Cheesy Loops?
Wow.
Anxious, like always?
Who isn't?
Me.
You gotta learn.
No, I'm just always sad.
Oh, okay.
You gotta learn sad, you see.
Oh, okay.
It's impossible to learn anxiety. It's full of feelings that I don't understand. What are you doing to my shoulder? Stop. What? So that belonged on my shoulder? Alright. Well, anyway, how about reading a book? You want to read a story?
About
You wanna-
reading my face? What's my face look like?
Your face looks like it's saying, yeah, I'll read a story.
Oh, okay. Chapter 10, A Simple Life. The blow to Glimmer's gut had them both hugging and laughing. The two men behind Gar did nothing. Glim well? He grunted, more than said. Glim do epic journey, Glimmer said, the words stilted. Journey and beautiful lady? I like Gar. Gar said, looking over at Eleanor, his gaze causing her to move behind Glimmer. Gar will lead. Glim and Lady will follow. The two men behind him turned and walked back towards the cliffside village from a distance. It seemed quite short, but as they got closer, the cliff seemed to stretch into the clouds. I'll highlight that whole thing. It was decorated with small, light structures. They stopped at a large open cave entrance. Lady have name? Gar asked, making a strange kind of conversation. Eleanor wanted to say the lady is Eleanor, but it came out Lady L. She sounded frustrated when she said it, but Glimmer thought it was cute. At first, he didn't see her as the first time he didn't see her as the tool of a prophecy. Maybe it was the amount of skin showing, or maybe it was the face she made when she realized what would happen if she spoke. Lady L, brand strong. His goal was to inform her that he thinks she carries herself with strength and conviction. His face told Glimmer that she wasn't sure how to communicate. Indeed, brother, brand strong, he smiled back at her. The dragon was interpreting. Glim seeks first will, he said confidently. What is first will? Lady L asked, his tone demure.
Well, I don't know about that. That's not right.
Yeah, that's not right. First will of divine arcane, we not forgotten. The first will of the divine arcane was as such. Never forget the people in the story. Glimmer was never sure if they figured that out, or just gave the same tired response their ancient minds could forge. End first will, end life. Glimmer started walking into the cave. The others followed, saying, Life Gar knows. Gar stumbled after him. What other life? He begged, not fully grasping what the will needed. Gar follow, Gar learn. They walked deeper into the cave. Stories of all kinds littered the walls. Eleanor almost got lost, repeatedly catching herself, getting distracted, then catching back up, only to be distracted by another eventually. Gar and Glimmer outpaced her, and she just kept staring, the words and images keeping her distracted like a very greedy reader. Glimmer noticed her hanging back and pressed on, unconcerned, knowing the dragon of greed and power would take care of herself and find their way to the first will. Glimmer and Gar found their way to the first will. It was a small piece of paper laid flat on an ornate golden plinth. As he got closer, he saw some text. It said 3 simple words. Evil wishes loss. Glimmer picked it up. Nothing happened. No one motioned to stop him. It was the first warning to the Fae, and a simple one at that. Eleanor came from behind. Forgetting Lady L, cruel. Her eyes glowed. Her voice came out different, excited. Stories, wonders, hunts, giants, on walls from heart. She looked at Gar, whose shocked face bowed immediately. Greed. Whew. This is a funky language to try to read.
It's just bad talking. It's fine.
No, but it's good bad talking.
Okay, good. That's good.
Yeah.
I need to
Greed
hear
dragon. Presence is honor. Would he say presence is honor? Or would he just say presence honor?
Continue. Oh,
Gar,
wow.
rise. She walked over to him, touching him on the shoulder. Dragon companion, Gar, friend. He straightened up as best he could, his eyes avoiding hers. What news, Glim? She asked. She was finally getting used to the strange way of speaking. The first will, he said, showing her the mostly empty page. Another much older man entered the hallway. Gar and interlopers. Replace will, he shouted, flanked by the spearmen they had previously met. Everything must change, Gar shouted, still straight as an arrow. Change, loss, evil wishes both, he said wisely. Glim has greed dragon, Gar warned. If so, dragon must die, the elder said. Eleanor gasped before her eyes began to glow. Crick fight, Crick becomes loss, she growled. Crick showed the slightest hesitation. Loss becomes fate. Fate is lost, he warned wisely, knowing that his words would come true. The two soldiers came at them with spears out. The two soldiers came at them with spears out. One of them targeted Gar, the other attacked Glimmer. Glimmer took care of his men quickly, knocking the spear away and delivering a swift kick to the chest. Gar was a little more violent. On his side were two solid clubs. The first one broke the spear as he swung it. The second one came down on the man's head, killing him. The act had Kirk stunned. This loss to all, he said, as he turned and walked away. Gar was enraged, panting heavily. Eleanor walked over to her new compatriot, placing her hand on his shoulder. Calm, friend. Time for change, she said, calming him down. Follow. Second will beckons. Gar looked into her eyes. The gold was gone. Gar joined. Lady L. Gar lead way. They walked out. A crowd formed. They were chanting, Evil comes. Crick was hiding among the rabble. His eyes held great fear. Gar walked profoundly in front of Eleanor and Glimmer.
Profoundly.
What did I say?
Profoundly.
Did I say profoundly?
Yeah. I got it on a tape. Roll back the tape. Okay, go ahead.
It's because formed is right above it.
Yeah, that's funny though. It's funny just the way you do it.
Gar walked proudly in front of Eleanor and Glimmer as they made their way back into the forest to finish their journey.
Should be resume. Whoa! Went to go highlight a word.
Highlighter.
I'm gonna probably do because that's not a problem. Okay, I put resume there instead of finish because it's not really resume yet. So let's talk about the way they talk. Oh my god.
Very simple to the point.
Like all the important words, but also in a way that adds a lot of confusion to the mix.
Right. So instead of saying I'm going to go to the bathroom, it's I bathroom.
Yeah. Oh, need pee.
Need pee.
Need shit.
What if it need poo?
Something like that. Yeah, I don't know. This is all you see of the first stage.
And
you get a lot of the second stage.
And it's not even need shower, it's need wash.
They didn't have the power to stop it.
Uh-huh.
They all knew it.
Yeah.
There was the beast maybe was a threat that Glimmer had spent enough time knowing that it wasn't there.
Well, even Kirk says that
Crick. K-R-I-K. Crick.
Crick. I was saying Kirk the whole time.
I know, it's fine.
Okay, Crick.
Get the point across. It's not wrong. It's just that is. I mean, if you want to say it the way it's.
I just don't know how it reads.
But if you want to say Kirk, that's fine.
It's Crick. It is Crick. Now that I'm reading it, it's Crick.
Okay, so when we talk about that dialogue, the whole point, you're getting the point. It's just the important stuff. It's just like, it's the idea here is that these are cavemen and fairies, like the kind you picture in picture books with bright wings that flutter around.
Mm-hmm.
Not the ones we're discussing that you'll see in the forest, or even Glimmer really truly is.
And these cavemen people have wings?
Some of them. They don't have. They look more like a fairy.
Okay.
Smaller. In the air.
No, but these cavemen guys.
These cavemen guys, they don't have wings.
They don't have wings.
No. They just like look like a little hunched over Neanderthal kind of thing.
They're kind of wingless fairies.
And then the other ones are smaller versions of them.
What we typically would, like the
yeah, like a typical fairy. Yeah.
What's that called? Anyhow.
Like the pixies. Pixies may be better. I don't know the terminology.
Stereotypical.
I'm just
stereotypical
changing
fairy.
things here. I'm not using those words on purpose. I'm describing things, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
So what's your first highlighted?
Well, I put replace. Now this is the dialogue. I think this is a problem with the wording. I think there's just a better word than replace. It's like put it back.
Return.
Yes, that's the word I'm looking for. And this should probably be a capital.
Yeah, it is a capital W.
And then presence. You said presence, honor, and I think that it's almost a
greed dragon.
It's almost like a sign of respect by using that. Then isn't it? Like this is her language. He's attempting. Presence is honor. You see, he's like trying to leap up into her space for her because of.
But does he know? Okay, so what I'm assuming is that they don't know the word is.
Okay, here's the complexity of Gar. He has 3 names, and they're different in each generation, and he acts differently in each generation. So the Gar you know now is going to disappear, and reappear as Garland for the second generation, for the second era.
Oh, okay.
And in the third era, he plays Garrett.
Okay.
Plays is the right word. This is not reality, and that's why when Glint died. He'll be back, right? The Fae don't die like humans do. The story just ends, and they have to figure out how to get out of it, get back to the space.
Okay, so he does know the word is.
Yes. Oh, yes. In fact, Garland is quite well spoken, and I think my goal with Garrett was to make him a little bit of a mad scientist.
Okay.
A little bit of a brainiac.
Okay.
And I mean, this all could use a lot of work, but it's there, right? You're right. This is the outline. You want to see this book explode and show more, I need to know that, because otherwise, I mean, I'll just do it next year. Okay.
Well, with your explanation, I still could go either way then.
Of what?
With the is.
With the is. Yeah, I know, but it's not being expressed. So I could say, like, he said using his best diction. It's kind of deference. I don't think it'll show up.
Okay. No, like I said, the way you explained it, I like.
Yeah, but would saying after that, trying his best at diction, kind of express the ideas that I'm saying, or something along those lines. Yeah. Or he could even, it could be like a Glimmer could say something here, like Glimmer knew that Gar was a more complex individual, and he had grasped the more complex way of speech, and something along that line. And
well, with such a simple chapter, you should keep the explanation simple. Because there's... I don't know. I don't think you need to explain it. Presence is honor. It's a different tempo than the rest.
Than the rest of it. And that's because of
You're on the wrong screen.
Of how honored he is to have her near,
right?
To have her here.
So
it's just a little bit too, because he doesn't stay that way, but he doesn't really talk to her again, right?
For the rest of the chapter?
No, he doesn't really talk to the dragon directly.
Oh, I don't know.
I think that's the only time he speaks to the dragon directly. Let me double check here. Where are we?
Because avoiding her eyes, and then later on,
it's after the fight. She says something, but I'm not concerned about that. This is before the fight, right?
Right, but there's a point which her eyes stopped glowing.
Yeah, the dragon has a lot to say. And it's just basically the dragon
looked in her eyes,
that.
and the gold was gone. Right there. He looked at her eyes, and the gold was gone. Gar joined Lady L. Gar lead way.
Yeah, and then he can continue.
You have it highlighted.
Okay, good. Oh, shoot! I didn't see that. Yeah, that's actually I was pointing that out. I was wondering why it's how I could make it sound better. Like I could throw like Gar join. Gar looked into her eyes. The gold was gone. Or Gar joined Lady L. And then I say that, and then Gar lead the way.
Oh, just kind of split that up a little bit.
To kind of let the dialogue, because it's not like he said all three of those things.
Yeah, you could split that dialogue up.
Okay, that's what I was thinking. And so this would just be a simple sentence. And we would take it and avoid taking anything else. Just the text in that space. Move it over here. Boom. And then
because then he looks into her eyes. Yeah, no, that actually feels a lot better than too.
Evil comes. Stop it. Why are you doing this nonsense?
Yeah, I don't know why it does that.
Okay. And do you see how what she says here in these words she just spills out?
Stories, wonders, hunts, giants on walls from heart.
So what happened?
She was reading the stories, and the dragon probably was telling her.
And it was like talking to her, and so he calls her cruel for forgetting.
She calls them cruel.
Oh, she calls them cruel. Okay,
Uh-huh.
okay. If she calls them cruel, then her eyes glowed, and then that's what's going on.
Her eyes glowed
because it's like she's speaking using the dragon a little bit.
Right, because she needs the dragon to help her.
Yeah, and the dragon's like spills out the words that are necessary, the exact ones for Gar, who's like, "Oh, I see, I understand. She was talking to you." Yeah. Okay, good.
Evil wishes lost.
Because this is a complicated one, and this I could actually delete. I could delete the whole text on it because I didn't do anything in the second and third. Or we could alternatively try and see what we could find, but I could never get it to mesh.
Well, we'll leave it here because we can always come back and get rid of it.
Let's talk about it real quick.
Okay.
So there's three ideas that stop science fiction and fantasy from like colliding.
Okay.
Right, from like being the same thing. It's not like two sides of the same coin here, right?
Yeah.
These are two completely different things, science fiction and fantasy. Like, I don't know if I'm saying this right.
Science fiction, fantasy.
Because I'm going to limit science fiction to the most broad term I can that requires technology and stuff like that. I'm going to limit to magic to the most strict terms I can where there's no technology. Mm-hmm. And the way that they're achieving technological means is by magic instead of technology, which is just one way of saying that I know with the technology how it works and how to get to it. The other one I just don't know. Right. But they do it. So right. I'm going to take those two ideas and merge them. But what's the ideas that stops them from merging, from being the same thing in the same exact space? Science.
Right. But there are sci-fi fantasies. Like, would you say?
Yeah, but this is hard to explain, isn't it? I'm actually not trying to create a sci-fi fantasy. I'm trying to meld them in such a way that they are irretrievably inseparable. So you can't pull them apart.
Okay.
Right? That's the idea. I'm trying to take this journey, this place that doesn't exist, the literal imagination.
Yeah. And
force it into the world.
Right.
So that's the real question. What's stopping those two things from happening? From imagination being considered real. I just haven't. This is a tough question to ponder, especially alone. There's so much the mind can do.
What separates them? Is that what you're asking?
What are the core elements here?
Magic.
Let's talk about my box.
Well, I was thinking before we get into that,
it kind of gets into that.
You get into our world. Imagination and reality are separated because we don't have the magical ability to make our imaginations real.
Or we're attempting to through technology.
Like I couldn't just say I'm gonna draw a picture of a cheeseburger and pull it out and eat it. that kind of imagination is not real. So the magic of it is separating it.
It's the unknown. The unknown is a big factor here. What happens if you put the unknown in the box?
That's a complicated thing. I don't know if I'm ready to talk about today.
I think what you're just like seeing is chaos, confusion, suffering, that kind of stuff.
Yeah. But if you take imagination and put it in the box,
it does the opposite. It's anything. It's everything.
Yeah.
It's fully explorable, unlike the reality.
What's your physical view on imagination?
Whether or not imagination is real, like the physic of it, it's not. It's a metaphysical concept.
But you can also attach physical to a child playing out some imaginative.
I mean, I guess I don't know enough about mathematics to make that statement because there are imaginary numbers.
Yeah.
Like they get some concept in there that I don't understand, maybe.
Right.
It's interesting.
Emotionally, imagination.
Imagination, I think, is like born from emotion. Like you feel something, and so you can like want that thing again.
Mm-hmm. And then mentally.
It's a place where science advances. There's the thought experiments that led to Schrodinger's equations that led to quantum physics. There's the I don't know anymore. But I know that most of the time you'll find those two things paired together.
Basically,
thought experiments and science.
You can think
that's how you form the hypothesis.
You can try to make it happen.
Yeah.
Like you can think unicorns are real.
Uh-huh.
It's the actual act of proving that unicorns are real, right?
Okay.
So that could be I can see that. It's the physical that's the hardest one, and the only physical one I can think of is children playing a game. Physically, they're acting out their imagination.
Physically, you could say that there is a likelihood, no matter how small, there's a chance, some small chance, that all the things I'm saying are real.
Mm-hmm.
Because once you look past the observable universe, we don't know what else there is, and we can't get there. Ever. Because moving at that rate the border would expand as fast as we can go.
Uh-huh.
Because it goes that fast.
Right.
We'll never reach it. So there's no way to ever prove that the thing doesn't exist.
Right.
Because for all we know, there's another universe out there. Past that big expanse.
The best you have is it likely does not exist in your present.
Yes. That's really what real means, isn't it? It's like not something that matters to me. It's not real. It doesn't matter to me. I don't think that's what it's real is supposed to mean,
though. So this evil wishes loss. Let's just keep it for now, and we can work on it later.
Just keep it highlighted,
yeah. Yeah, keep it highlighted. But change the word right before it from "the" to "3." And then we can move on to the next highlight.
Just the repetition of first wall. I think I can change it. I just wanted to highlight this better.
To their goal.
Okay, so it's I don't have to have this. Oh, come on. Oh wait, just like snap. I'll take it. Okay. Back to the mouse. Okay, so this is just the.
Or what they came from. What they came for.
Well, I was going to say Divine's Will.
You probably should put that on a charger then.
It's probably a message. It's fine.
It's probably a message, but... Divine's Will.
Those words should be interchangeable. I mean, the same thing in this context.
Alright. Is it plugged in?
A moment, please. Make sure the phone is charging. My phone is off. There it is. 15% in charge.
So that was just a delay.
Come on. Camera set right.
Alright. They walk deeper into the cave. There's a lot of commas, not here. Periods.
There's a problem.
There's a problem.
Every time we alter up there, it's going to move that.
Well, it also got way bigger.
I made it bigger.
Oh, okay. That's fine. We can fix it when we come finish up. Alright, so there's a lot of periods in this sentence that our next highlightation that need to be added.
Okay.
Because you have just one really long run-on sentence, and I'm surprised Grammarly didn't pick that up.
Did you not? Okay, so they walk deeper into the caves. Stories of all kinds litter the walls. There are capitals litter all over this place, too. Eleanor almost got lost repeatedly, catching herself, getting distracted, then catching, only to catch back up. Only to be distracted by another.
They walked deeper into the cave. Stories of what kind litter the walls. Eleanor almost got lost repeatedly, catching herself, before catching, getting herself distracted, then catching back up, only to be distracted by another eventually. Period after eventually.
Or just get rid of the eventually.
No, I don't think you need to get rid of eventually.
What that?
Why ...
Because it's kind of like she keeps doing it, and so Glimmer just goes ahead.
Okay.
So she's still going to be doing it, and he doesn't know any further. He just kept being.
Why is Grammarly having a problem with that?
The and probably. I think I was going with another, but that's fine.
I'll pace her. She just kept staring. The words and images kept keeping her distracted, like a very greedy reader. Just get rid of that V, and then we can move on to the next point. We fixed all the problems I had with that one.
So far. Next time we do this, it's going to be even worse.
Oh, very probably. Alright, the next one is her tone. Demure.
Jerk.
That's one you highlighted. What is first will? Get rid of is? Is she doing good talking here?
Oh, good point. I missed that.
Excuse my fingers in this water.
Give her some ice.
Give her some ice.
We didn't get her up on the couch with some snacks.
I figured it was going to be too warm.
This is a question mark. That's not. Whoa. Okay.
Okay.
This isn't a big deal.
Brand strong. What is brand?
It's colloquial. It's like a thing that they would say.
Colloquial. It's a thing they would say. Okay, but then explain to me.
Because
why is it a thing they would say?
They would brand things. I mean, when you brand them, it's like they're together and they're stronger. And
she carries herself with strength and conviction. Like, so he would brand her strong?
Yeah.
Is that what he's trying to get at?
He's
labeling her strong?
Like they would label a cow.
Yeah. Okay. Okay, yeah, that's fine then. Does it all need to be capitalized like that?
I don't know. Okay.
They stopped at a large open cave entrance.
Oh.
Well, maybe you should stop. Should have nom 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 during my reading of it.
Okay. What was just sitting there? It's driving me insane.
Well, I was gonna eat it.
I'll cook you more later.
Okay.
Be fresh.
Fresh cheese toasties.
Okay, so
You said hold on.
this whole paragraph was in question.
What whole paragraph? The Gar lead.
Yeah.
Gar will lead. Glim and Lady will follow. Will he say wills? Gar lead, Glim and Lady follow.
Yeah. I also didn't put enough M's in Glim. There you go.
Okay. The two men behind him turned and walked back towards the cliffside village. Back towards the cliffside village. From a distance, so that's like either a whole new sentence.
Mm-hmm.
It seemed quite short, but as they got closer, and then there's a period where it doesn't need to be.
Weird.
The cliff seemed to stretch into the clouds.
Up into the clouds?
Up into the clouds.
It's a cliff, though, so...
No, into the clouds is fine.
Okay. And it was decorated with small light structures. I can get into that a little bit, I think. Like, the idea is that there's small light structures up in the cave exits and the holes that are coming out of it.
Yeah.
And they're going in when it's on the ground, right?
Yeah.
So there's all these structures that the fairies can go fly up and down into.
Kind of like there's like kind of wooden platformy things.
Yeah, platforms is a good way of putting it. Maybe platforms is better here.
Platforms is a better word for it.
Yeah, I guess if you want to. Okay, they stopped at a large open cave entrance. Is that enough?
Yeah.
Is there a better way of phrasing it?
Why did they stop?
Car stopped them.
Oh, okay. Yeah, stopped us. They stopped at a large open cave entrance. Do you have to say open? A large opening of a cave entrance.
I think you're right. I think that's what's going on. Large cave entrance.
Yeah. Because she sure as heck hope it's open. Wouldn't be much of an entrance.
Okay. No, the two men behind guard did nothing. That's a dumb sentence. If they did nothing, that's not worth saying.
Stood stoically. Stood at the ready. They're there because you mentioned them in the last chapter. And why are they there in the last chapter?
Those are the two men they fight.
Yeah, in the future, but not now.
No.
So, what do you...
So the two men behind Gar stood watching the scene unfold.
At the ready?
You're not going to fight for him.
Well, no, but there's people coming in. They're just kind of there to check on things, and then Gar's like, okay, let's go here. And then they kind of leave later. I don't remember when they leave. When do they leave?
Later, before they start walking. I think the idea is that they went back and reported.
Behind him, turned and walked back towards the cliffside village.
So that Crick could get there in time.
Mm-hmm. Okay. I hear you. We're almost done, baby.
So, this is the tough part.
Well, it also shows that, yeah, you had them in the last chapter, but that's like Garsh like punched Glimmer in the gut, and then nothing happened. So they did nothing as a response to that punch in the gut.
Because they started hugging and laughing.
Well, not only that they started hugging and laughing, but they also wouldn't join in the hugging and laughing. That's a important point to make too. So I think that's fine. Them saying they did nothing. So.
Made no motion.
Yeah, you could do that.
Didn't made no motion to do anything to attack.
Nah. They did nothing. That's literally they just stood there.
They just stood there. That's the idea. Not really even out there ready. Just like waiting for Gardas to be done.
Yeah. So they just stood there.
All right.
That's fine.
Well, we're gonna get the dog out. Thanks everyone for watching.
Have a good day.
Bye.
Bye. Did you even get the...
Hello and welcome to Editing with My Wife, now with more telephones. Cheesy, what you doing on your phone there?
Updating with my papas.
Oh, good. Her father had problems recently, so that's the phone update.
He's not taking his medication. That means he's doing good.
Thank you for joining us in this little tiny editing with my wife.